Pause for a moment, because this is not random, and it is not coincidence that you are here right now, hearing these words at this exact time in your life. Something deeper has aligned, something unseen has guided your steps, and this moment carries a weight that is not meant to scare you. You may have felt an urgency when you saw this message, a pull that you could not fully explain, almost like something inside you whispered, "Pay attention." That feeling is not fear trying to control you, it is awareness trying to awaken you, calling you gently but firmly back into alignment. There is a difference between losing something and drifting away from it, and what you have been sensing is not the loss of God's hand, but the awareness that you have been out of alignment with the peace, clarity, and direction that were always meant for you. Stay with me here, because this matters more than you realize, and not in a way that brings pressure, but in a way that brings clarity. This moment is not about panic, it is about recognition. It is about seeing what has been quietly unfolding beneath the surface of your life. You have been walking through days that felt uncertain, maybe even heavy, where decisions seemed unclear and answers felt distant. And in those moments, it can feel like something sacred is slipping away. But the truth is, nothing meant for you has been taken, only misaligned for a time. What you are experiencing is a crossroads, not a countdown. A moment where your awareness is catching up with what your spirit has already known. And that is why this message found you, not to threaten you, but to awaken you to what is already within reach. Archangel Michael stands not as a figure of fear, but as a presence of protection, clarity, and strength. His role in this moment is not to warn you of loss, but to guide you back into alignment, to stand beside you as you recognize what needs to shift within you. You are not being chased by judgment, you are being invited into alignment. There is a difference, and it changes everything. One creates fear, the other creates clarity. One causes you to freeze, the other gives you the strength to move forward with purpose and peace. Right now, there are two paths before you, even if they are invisible. One is driven by fear, rushing, reacting, trying to control outcomes. The other is rooted in stillness, listening, trusting, and responding with clarity. And your spirit already knows which one leads to peace. The urgency you feel is not about time running out, it is about awareness arriving. It is the moment where something within you says, "I see it now." And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. That is the true turning point, not a clock, but a realization. In the next moments, you are going to understand three things that will bring everything into focus. The first is a sign that confirms you are moving back into alignment. The second is a timing window that shows you when to act and when to pause. And the third is a clear action, simple but powerful, that will help you step out of confusion and into clarity. Not complicated, not overwhelming, but grounded and real, something you can actually do without second-guessing yourself. But before we move into that, you need to understand this one truth clearly, because it will anchor everything that follows. You are not on the verge of losing God's hand. You are on the edge of recognizing where you let go of alignment. And recognition is not failure, it is the beginning of restoration. It is the moment where everything can begin to shift, not because something external changes first, but because something internal becomes clear and steady again. So take a breath right here, not out of fear, but out of awareness. Let yourself settle for just a second. Because what comes next will not confuse you, it will clarify you. And the first thing you are about to notice is the sign. There is a reason your thoughts have felt louder than usual, as if something inside you has been trying to get your attention in a way you can no longer ignore. You may not have had the exact words for it, but you have felt it. That quiet tension beneath your daily routine, that subtle unease when things should feel settled, that lingering question of, why does this still feel unresolved? This is where many people turn away, because it is uncomfortable to sit in that space between what was and what has not yet become. But this space, this very moment you are in, is not a place of failure. It is a place of awareness. And awareness, even when it feels heavy, is a sign that something within you is waking up. You may have told yourself that you are just overthinking, or that you need to push through and ignore it. But ignoring it has not brought peace, has it? It has only made the tension quieter on the surface, while it continues to speak underneath. That is because what you are feeling is not noise. It is a signal. There are moments when it feels like you have been left to figure everything out on your own. Like the clarity you once had has faded, and the direction you trusted is no longer as certain. And in those moments, it is easy to interpret the silence as distance, to believe that something sacred has stepped back from you. But stay with me, because this is where the misunderstanding begins. What feels like distance is not abandonment. What feels like silence is not absence. You are not uncovered. You are not unprotected. You are standing in a space where something is being realigned, even if you cannot yet see how. Think about the difference between being lost and being paused. When you are lost, there is confusion without direction. But when you are paused, there is still direction. It is simply waiting for your awareness to catch up. And right now, what you are experiencing is not loss. It is a pause that is asking you to notice something you have been moving past. This is why the feeling does not fully go away. Because it is not meant to. It is not here to disturb you, but to guide you. There is something in your life, a pattern, a decision, a mindset, that has slowly drifted out of alignment. Not dramatically, not all at once, but gradually, quietly. And now your awareness is catching it. That inner tension you feel, it often shows up in your body before your mind can explain it. A tightness in your chest when you think about a certain situation. A heaviness when you consider a decision you have been avoiding. And then, in contrast, a subtle sense of release when you imagine choosing differently, even if that choice feels unfamiliar. Pay attention to that difference. Your body is not working against you, it is revealing something to you. The tightness is not there to trap you, it is there to signal misalignment. The release is not random, it is a glimpse of what peace feels like when you move closer to truth. This is not something to fear. It is something to understand. Because anxiety often gets misunderstood. You have been told to eliminate it, to silence it, to push it away as quickly as possible. But not all anxiety is the same. Some of it is rooted in fear, yes, but some of it is simply awareness without clarity. It is your spirit recognizing that something needs attention, even if your mind has not yet caught up. So instead of fighting it, what if you listen to it differently? Not as a threat, but as a message. Not as something that means you are failing, but as something that means you are noticing. Because the moment you begin to notice, you are no longer stuck in it. You are already beginning to move through it. There are two paths in front of you right now, even if they are not clearly visible yet. One path is to keep overriding what you feel, to distract yourself, to move quickly so you do not have to sit with the discomfort. That path feels easier in the moment, but it keeps you in the same cycle. The other path is quieter. It asks you to slow down, to acknowledge what is rising within you, and to trust that there is meaning in it. That path may feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable at first, but it leads to clarity. It leads to peace that does not disappear the moment things get uncertain again. And here is what you need to hear clearly. Feeling this tension does not mean you are far from God. It means you are becoming aware of where you are being called back into alignment. It means you are close enough to truth to feel the difference. You are not abandoned in this moment. You are covered, even here. Especially here. There is a protection around you that has not been removed, even if your circumstances have felt unstable. There is guidance that has not stopped, even if it has become quieter. And there is a presence that has not left, even if you have felt alone. Sometimes protection does not look like immediate answers. Sometimes it looks like a pause that keeps you from moving further in the wrong direction. Sometimes it looks like discomfort that prevents you from settling into something that is not meant for you. And if you look closely, you may begin to see that even in your confusion, there have been moments where something did not fully collapse, where something held, where something kept you from going too far off course. That is not coincidence. That is covering. So as you stand in this crossroads, feeling both the tension and the pull towards something more steady, understand this. You are not stuck. You are in a moment of decision that is forming from within, not being forced from outside. And as this awareness becomes clearer, you are going to begin to recognize something that has been present all along, something subtle but undeniable. Because the next thing you are about to understand is what has actually been standing against you, and why this moment feels as intense as it does. What if the resistance you have been feeling is not random at all, but targeted in a way you did not fully recognize until now? Because when you begin to look closely at the patterns, the delays, the moments where things almost came together and then suddenly shifted, you start to see that this has not been ordinary. There has been a pressure around your life that feels heavier than it should be for what you are carrying. Situations that should have resolved simply have stretched out longer than expected. Doors that seemed ready to open hesitated at the last moment. And even your own thoughts have, at times, felt like they were working against your clarity instead of supporting it. This is where many people misinterpret what is happening. They assume that the delay means denial, or that the resistance means they are doing something wrong. But that is not always the truth. In fact, what you have been facing is not punishment. It is pressure against something that matters. There is a difference between being corrected and being opposed. Correction brings clarity and direction. Opposition creates confusion and delay. And what you have been experiencing has not been a clear redirection away from your path. It has been a persistent attempt to wear down your confidence in it. Think about how subtle it has been. Not always dramatic, not always obvious, but consistent. A hesitation here, a distraction there, a moment of doubt right when you were about to move forward. These are not accidents. They are patterns. And patterns reveal that something deeper is at work. This is what spiritual warfare often looks like in real life. Not chaos that is loud and undeniable, but resistance that is quiet and repetitive. It does not always announce itself. It simply interferes, delays, and distracts until you begin to question yourself. But here is the truth you need to hold on to. This resistance is not greater than what is guiding you. It is only present because there is something in your life that carries weight, something that is meant to move forward, something that matters more than you may have realized. You are not being targeted because you are weak. You are being opposed because there is something strong within you that has not fully stepped into alignment yet. And this is where the contrast becomes clear. On one side, you see the visible chaos. The delays, the confusion, the unanswered questions. On the other side, there is a hidden order that you have not fully seen yet. A quiet structure that is still forming, even while everything feels uncertain. Just because you cannot see order does not mean it is not there. There have been moments, if you look back, where something did not fall apart the way it could have. Situations where the worst outcome did not happen, even though it felt possible. Times where something held together just enough for you to keep going. That was not coincidence. That was protection. Because even in the middle of resistance, there has been a boundary around you that has not been crossed. A limit to how far things could go. And that limit exists because you are not unprotected, even in the middle of what feels like a battle. Archangel Michael's presence is not something distant or symbolic in this moment. It represents the force of protection that stands between you and what could have overwhelmed you. Not removing every challenge, but ensuring that those challenges do not destroy what is meant to remain. There is a difference between being attacked and being overtaken. You may have felt pressure, but you have not been overtaken. You are still here. Still aware. Still able to choose. And that alone tells you something important. It tells you that the resistance has not won. What you are standing in right now is not the aftermath of defeat. It is the middle of a process where something is being refined, clarified, and strengthened. And while it feels uncomfortable, even exhausting at times, it is not without purpose. The delays you experienced were not empty. They were creating space. Space for you to see more clearly. Space for certain things to fall away. Space for you to recognize what truly aligns and what does not. Because if everything had moved quickly, without resistance, you might have stepped into something that looked right on the surface but did not carry the depth or stability you actually need. So the question is not, why has this been happening to me? The question is, what has this been revealing to me? When you begin to shift your focus that way, something changes. You move from feeling like a victim of circumstance to someone who is becoming aware of a deeper process. And awareness is where your power begins to return. There is also something else you need to understand clearly. Not every thought you have carried in this season has come from a place of truth. Some of the doubts, the fears, the quiet assumptions that things will not work out, those have been influenced by the pressure around you. That does not make you weak. It makes you human. But now that you are aware of it, you have a choice. You can continue to let those thoughts shape your direction, or you can begin to question them, to step back and ask whether they actually reflect truth or just the residue of resistance. Because truth brings clarity, even when it is challenging. Resistance brings confusion, even when nothing has actually gone wrong. And you are beginning to feel that difference now. You are starting to notice that not everything that feels heavy is true. And not everything that feels uncertain is permanent. There is a shift happening in your awareness, even if it is subtle, and that shift is what begins to change everything. So as you stand here, in this moment, understanding that there has been a hidden battle around you, let this anchor settle within you. You have not been forgotten. You have not been left exposed. You have been protected in ways you did not always recognize. And now that you are becoming aware of both the resistance and the protection, you are ready to understand something even deeper. Because the next part of this journey is not about what has been fighting you, but about why it sometimes felt like everything went quiet, and what that silence was actually doing for you. There is a kind of silence that feels heavier than noise, and you have been standing in it longer than you expected. Not the peaceful kind of quiet that restores you, but the kind that leaves you wondering if something has shifted, if something has stepped back, if the presence you once felt so clearly has somehow grown distant. And if you are honest, there have been moments where that question has crossed your mind more than once. Where is God in this? Not as doubt meant to reject faith, but as a genuine search for reassurance in a season that has not responded the way you thought it would. Stay with me, because this is where understanding begins to replace assumption. Silence can feel like absence when you do not understand its purpose. But not all silence means something has left. Sometimes silence means something is being prepared in a way that noise would interrupt. Sometimes it is not a withdrawal, but a shift in how you are being guided. Think about how quickly clarity used to come in certain moments. You would feel a sense of direction, a knowing, a steady confidence that carried you forward. And then, suddenly, that clarity seemed to soften. Not disappear completely, but become less immediate, less obvious. That change can feel unsettling, especially when you have relied on that clarity before. It can make you feel like something has been taken away. But what if it was not taken away? What if it was being refined? Because there is a difference between being led step by step and being trusted to recognize direction from within. One keeps you dependent on constant signals. The other strengthens your ability to discern. And discernment is what this season has been developing in you. You have not been left without guidance. You have been invited into a deeper way of recognizing it. One that does not always rely on external confirmation, but begins to form from a quieter, steadier place within you. This is why the silence feels different. It is not empty, it is subtle. And subtle guidance requires a different kind of attention. Now, this is where you need something practical, something you can actually use, because understanding alone is not enough if you cannot apply it. So let me give you a few ways to begin recognizing what is truly coming from alignment and what is coming from pressure. The first is this. Pay attention to the difference between peace and pressure. Pressure rushes you. It creates urgency that feels tight, almost demanding. It pushes you to act quickly, often before you have clarity. Even if the decision seems right on the surface, it carries a weight that does not fully settle within you. Peace, on the other hand, does not rush. Even when a decision needs to be made, there is a steadiness to it. A sense that you are not being forced, but guided. It may still require courage, it may still feel unfamiliar, but it does not feel chaotic. If what you are feeling is pushing you faster than your clarity can support, that is not alignment. That is pressure. The second is this. Notice the difference between clarity and confusion. Clarity does not always come with complete answers, but it comes with direction. You may not see every step ahead, but you know the next one. There is a sense of, this is right, even if it is quiet. Confusion, however, keeps you circling. It introduces doubt into every option, making it difficult to settle on anything. It feels like you are constantly second-guessing, constantly revisiting the same questions without resolution. If something keeps pulling you into circles without progress, that is not clarity trying to emerge. That is confusion trying to keep you stuck. And the third is this. Listen to your internal response, not just your external situation. There are moments where everything around you may look uncertain, but something inside you feels calm when you consider a certain direction. And there are moments where everything may look perfect on the outside, but something within you tightens when you think about committing to it. That internal response matters more than you may have realized. Your spirit recognizes alignment before your circumstances fully reflect it. And in this season, that inner recognition is becoming more important than external validation. So when you feel that tightness in your chest, that hesitation that does not go away, do not dismiss it. And when you feel that subtle release, that quiet sense of, this feels right, even if it is not fully clear yet, do not ignore it. That is how guidance is speaking to you now. And once you begin to see this, something shifts. The silence no longer feels like distance. It begins to feel like space. Space where you are learning to recognize truth in a deeper way. You are not being left alone in this process. You are being strengthened within it. Because if you were given constant clarity without learning discernment, you would remain dependent on signs without understanding them. But now, you are beginning to understand. And that changes how you move forward. So let this settle in you clearly. God has not stepped away from you. The way you are being guided has simply changed, becoming quieter, deeper, more aligned with who you are becoming. And as this understanding grows, you are about to see something that brings it all together in a way you did not expect. Because the next thing you need to recognize is not just how you have been guided, but how others have moved through this same moment, and what happened when they chose to respond differently. There is something powerful about seeing how this kind of moment has unfolded in someone else's life, because it helps you recognize that what you are experiencing is not random, and it is not the end of your path. I want to share a simple story with you, not as something distant or unreachable, but as something that mirrors what you may be walking through right now. There was someone who had been waiting for clarity for a long time. Not days or weeks, but months where things felt like they were constantly almost coming together, only to fall just short. Opportunities appeared, but never fully formed. Decisions felt close, but never settled. And over time, that pattern created a quiet exhaustion. They began to question themselves. Not in a dramatic way, but in small, consistent thoughts. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I should just accept this as it is. Maybe this is as good as it gets. And that is how resistance often works. Not by stopping you all at once, but by slowly lowering your expectation of what is possible. There came a moment, though, where something shifted. Not externally at first, but internally. They reached a point where the constant trying, the constant analyzing, the constant searching for answers became too heavy to carry the same way. And instead of pushing harder, they paused. Not out of defeat, but out of recognition. Recognition that forcing clarity had not brought peace. Recognition that moving faster had not created direction. So for the first time in a long while, they allowed themselves to stop trying to control the outcome. That was the moment of surrender. And surrender is often misunderstood. It is not giving up. It is releasing the need to force what is not aligned. It is choosing to step back just enough to see what has been hidden by constant movement. In that pause, something subtle began to change. They started noticing the difference between what felt heavy and what felt steady. They began to recognize that some of the paths they had been pursuing were driven more by pressure than by peace. And once they saw that clearly, those paths no longer held the same pull. That clarity did not come all at once. It came in small realizations. A decision that no longer felt right. A direction that quietly stood out as different. A sense of calm when considering one option over another. And then, almost unexpectedly, things began to move. Not in chaos, not all at once, but in alignment. The right conversation happened at the right time. A decision that once felt confusing became clear. A door that had seemed closed opened without the same resistance as before. From the outside, it looked sudden. Like everything changed quickly. But in reality, the breakthrough began the moment they stopped forcing what was not aligned and allowed themselves to recognize what was. This is the pattern you need to see. Resistance creates pressure. Pressure leads to exhaustion. Exhaustion invites surrender. And surrender creates space for clarity. And clarity is what leads to breakthrough. You are not at the end of something. You are in the middle of this pattern. The tension you have been feeling is not the final stage. It is the point just before recognition. The moment where you begin to see what has been hidden beneath the noise. And this is where the idea of 10 seconds begins to make sense in a different way. It is not a literal countdown meant to rush you into fear. It is a symbolic moment. A point of readiness where everything you have been experiencing, all the tension, all the questions, all the quiet awareness, comes together into a single realization. It is the moment where you stop and truly see. For that person, their 10 seconds was not about time running out. It was about awareness arriving. A brief but powerful moment where everything became clear enough to choose differently. And once that choice was made, everything that followed began to shift. That same moment is forming for you now. Not in panic, not in pressure, but in readiness. You are not being rushed into a decision. You are being brought to a point where the right decision becomes clear. So if you feel like something is building, like something is about to click into place, you are not imagining it. You are approaching your moment of recognition. And as you step into that awareness, you are about to notice something very specific, something that confirms you are moving in the right direction. Because the next thing you need to understand is the sign that appears when alignment begins to return. The sign you have been waiting for is not going to arrive the way you were taught to expect it, and that is why it may have been so easy to overlook until now. You were looking for something dramatic, something undeniable, something that would remove all uncertainty in a single moment. But the true sign does not overwhelm you. It steadies you. It does not shout over your fear. It replaces it. The first part of the sign is this: peace begins to take the place of urgency. Not that everything suddenly becomes perfect, and not that every question is instantly answered, but the pressure you once felt to rush, to figure everything out immediately, to force a decision before you were ready, begins to fade. In its place comes a quiet steadiness. You may still have decisions to make, but they no longer feel chaotic. You may still feel a sense of importance, but it is no longer heavy. There is a difference between urgency that tightens you and clarity that settles you. And when the sign appears, you will feel that difference. Think about the situations that have been weighing on you. The ones that made your chest tighten, your thoughts race, your energy feel scattered. Now imagine approaching that same situation, but instead of tension, there is a calm awareness. That shift is the sign. The second part of the sign is repeated confirmation. Not in a way that overwhelms you, but in a way that gently reinforces what you are already beginning to sense. You may hear the same message in different forms. A thought that returns with clarity instead of confusion. A conversation that echoes what you have been feeling internally. A moment where something aligns just enough to confirm what you already suspected. This is not coincidence. It is alignment becoming visible. But here is where many people miss it. They dismiss these confirmations because they are not dramatic enough. They expect something louder, something more obvious. And in doing so, they overlook the consistency of what is being shown to them. When something repeats with clarity, without forcing itself, without creating confusion, that is confirmation. The third part of the sign is clear direction. Not every step, not every outcome, but the next step becomes unmistakable. You know what needs to be done, even if you are still processing how it will unfold. There is a sense of, this is right, not because it is easy, but because it is steady. Clarity does not always remove discomfort, but it removes confusion. So when the sign appears, you will notice this combination. A calm replacing urgency. Confirmation reinforcing what you feel. And direction becoming clear enough to act. Now the question becomes, what do you do when this happens? Because recognizing the sign is only the first part. Responding to it is what creates change. The first thing you do is pause. Not to delay, but to anchor. When clarity begins to form, take a moment to let it settle. Do not rush past it. Do not immediately question it. Just sit with it long enough to feel the difference between this and the confusion you had before. This pause is what allows you to move from reaction to response. The second thing you do is simplify. Clarity often gets complicated by overthinking. You start adding extra questions, extra scenarios, extra possibilities that pull you away from what was already clear. So when the sign appears, bring it back to its simplest form. What is the next step you know is right? Not 5 steps ahead. Not every possible outcome. Just the next step. Because alignment does not require you to see everything. It requires you to trust what you can see now. The third thing you do is act calmly. Not with hesitation, and not with pressure. But with a steady confidence that comes from clarity. Even if the step feels small, even if it feels unfamiliar, take it. Because clarity that is not acted on begins to fade back into confusion. You do not need to force the outcome. You only need to follow the direction that has been made clear. And as you do, something important happens. The path begins to meet you. The same way resistance once showed up in small, consistent ways, alignment now begins to show up in the same manner. A conversation flows more easily. A decision feels lighter. A door opens without the same struggle as before. These are not random improvements. They are confirmations that you are moving in alignment. But remember this. The sign is not meant to remove all challenge. It is meant to guide you through it with clarity. You may still face moments of uncertainty. You may still have questions about what comes next. But the difference is, you will no longer feel lost in it. You will have direction within it. And that is what changes everything. So as you begin to notice this shift, this calm where there was once pressure, this clarity where there was once confusion, do not ignore it. Do not dismiss it because it feels simple. Simplicity is often how truth reveals itself. You asked for a sign, and now you understand what it actually looks like. Not overwhelming, not chaotic, but steady, repeated, and clear. And now that you know how to recognize it and what to do when it appears, there is one more piece that will bring everything into full perspective. Because timing matters. Not in the way you were led to believe, not as a countdown to fear, but as a moment of alignment that you are stepping into. And in the next moments, you are going to understand exactly what that timing window really means, and how to move within it without pressure. The moment you thought was a countdown is actually a doorway, and that changes everything about how you move from here. Because when you hear 10 seconds left, your mind immediately goes to pressure, to urgency, to the fear of missing something important. But that is not what this moment is meant to create within you. This is not a threat. This is a moment of decision. A point where everything you have been feeling, everything you have been noticing, everything that has been quietly shifting inside you, comes together into a single opportunity to respond differently than you have before. Timing, in the way you have experienced it until now, may have felt frustrating. Too slow when you were ready. Too unclear when you needed direction. Too delayed when you were hoping for movement. But spiritual timing does not operate on pressure. It operates on alignment. And alignment happens when your awareness meets the opportunity in front of you. That is what this 10 seconds represents. Not time running out, but readiness arriving. The moment where you are no longer moving unconsciously, no longer reacting out of habit, but standing in a place where you can choose with clarity. There have been many moments before this where opportunities were present, but your awareness was not fully aligned with them. You may have moved too quickly, driven by pressure. Or hesitated too long, held back by doubt. Or simply missed what was in front of you because you were focused somewhere else. But this moment is different. Because now, you see more clearly. You feel more deeply. You recognize the difference between pressure and peace, between confusion and clarity. And that awareness is what makes this moment significant. So instead of asking, "What if I miss it?" begin asking, "How do I respond to it?" Because the power of this moment is not in the timing itself. It is in your response to it. And this is where you need something simple, something grounded, something you can actually follow without overcomplicating it. So bring it back to this. Pause. Before you react, before you move, before you overthink, allow yourself a moment of stillness. Not to delay, but to become aware. To step out of urgency and into clarity. Even a few seconds of intentional pause can shift you from reacting out of pressure to responding with purpose. In that pause, you create space. And in that space, you begin to listen. Not just to the noise of your thoughts, not just to the expectations around you, but to the deeper sense within you that has already been guiding you. The same sense that has been showing you what feels heavy and what feels steady. Listen for the direction that brings calm, even if it requires courage. Listen for the thought that feels clear, even if it is simple. Listen for the option that does not create inner conflict, even if it is not the easiest path. Because clarity does not compete for your attention. It presents itself quietly, and waits for you to recognize it. And once you hear it, the next step is to respond. Not perfectly, not with complete certainty about every outcome, but with willingness. Willingness to move in the direction that has been made clear. Willingness to trust what you have recognized instead of returning to what feels familiar but misaligned. Response is what turns awareness into movement. Without it, clarity remains an idea. With it, clarity becomes a path. So this is the timing window. Not a countdown that forces you, but a moment that invites you. A moment where you pause, listen, and respond in alignment with what you now understand. And here is something important you can do right now, not as a requirement, but as a declaration of where you stand in this moment. If you feel this shift within you, if you recognize that you are ready to move differently, then simply affirm it. You can write, "I choose alignment." Not for anyone else, but for yourself. Because sometimes, putting it into words helps anchor what you are deciding internally. Let it be a marker, a quiet but clear statement that you are no longer moving from pressure, but from awareness. And as you step into that, something begins to change. Not all at once, not in a way that overwhelms you, but in a steady unfolding where things begin to meet you differently. Because when alignment meets opportunity, movement follows. And now that you understand how to recognize the moment and how to respond within it, you are ready to experience something even deeper. Not just awareness, not just clarity, but a sense of stillness that grounds everything you have just understood. So in the next moments, you are going to step into a space where you can feel this alignment settle within you, not as an idea, but as something real and present. Right now, I want you to slow down with me, not because you have to, but because this is where everything you have just understood begins to settle into something real within you. This is not about doing more. It is about becoming still enough to recognize what is already present. So wherever you are, take a gentle breath in. Not a forced breath, not something exaggerated, just a natural inhale that you allow yourself to notice. And then slowly release it. Let your shoulders soften just a little. Let your thoughts slow down, even if only slightly. Stay here with me for a moment. As you breathe in again, notice if there is any tightness in your chest, any tension you have been carrying without fully realizing it. Do not try to fix it. Just notice it. And as you breathe out, allow that tension to loosen, even if only a little. You are not trying to reach perfection in this moment. You are allowing awareness to create space. Breathe in again, and this time, let the inhale carry a sense of calm. Not because everything is solved, but because you are no longer moving in confusion. And as you exhale, let go of the urgency that was once driving you. Stay with this rhythm for a few seconds. This is where alignment begins to feel different. Not rushed, not pressured, but steady. And in this steadiness, you begin to recognize something important. You are not alone in this moment. You have not been navigating this by yourself, even when it felt that way. There is a presence that has remained with you, steady even when your circumstances were not. A protection that has surrounded you, even when you did not fully see it. And right now, you are becoming aware of it again. Archangel Michael's presence represents that protection, not as something distant, but as something near, something that stands with you in strength and clarity. Not removing your choices, but supporting you as you make them. So in this stillness, I want you to bring your awareness to that sense of protection. Not something you have to imagine forcefully, but something you allow yourself to feel. A quiet strength around you. A sense that you are not exposed, not vulnerable in the way fear tries to convince you. Take another breath, and let that awareness settle. Now, as you remain in this space, I am going to guide you through a simple prayer. Not something complicated, not something you have to memorize, but something you can receive and make your own. God, in this moment of stillness, I come back into alignment with your presence. Not through pressure, not through fear, but through awareness and trust. I release the need to force what is not aligned. I release the confusion that has kept me circling. And I open myself to the clarity that you have been guiding me toward, even when I did not fully recognize it. Surround me with your peace, the kind that steadies my thoughts and quiets my urgency. Let that peace guide my decisions, not pressure, not fear, but a calm certainty that grows stronger with each step I take. Strengthen my ability to discern. Help me recognize what is true and what is not. What is aligned and what is driven by pressure. Give me the clarity to see the next step, even if I do not see the entire path. And in this moment, I acknowledge the protection that has been over my life. The ways I have been kept from what was not meant for me. The ways I have been guided, even when it felt quiet. Through the presence of Archangel Michael, I receive that protection with awareness. Not as something distant, but as something active, something that stands with me as I move forward. Give me the courage to respond to what I now understand. Not perfectly, but willingly. Not with fear, but with trust. And let everything I do from this moment forward be rooted in alignment, not confusion. Amen. Stay in this stillness for just a moment longer. Let those words settle, not just as something you heard, but as something you feel. Because this is not about repeating words. It is about allowing something within you to shift. You do not need to rush out of this moment. You do not need to immediately do something. Let the stillness complete what it started. And notice what has changed, even if it is subtle. The way your breath feels. The way your thoughts have slowed. The way the tension has softened, even slightly. This is what alignment feels like when it begins to take root. Not dramatic, not overwhelming, but steady and real. And as you carry this with you, understand this clearly. You are not being asked to prove anything. You are being invited to remain aware. To continue choosing from this place, one step at a time. Because what comes next is not about striving harder, but about recognizing how things begin to change when you move in alignment. And in the next moments, you are going to see what begins to shift in your life when this clarity becomes something you consistently follow. Something begins to shift after alignment, and it is not always loud or immediate, but it is unmistakable when you learn how to recognize it. The first change is not in your circumstances. It is in you. Where there was once constant tension, there is now a growing sense of calm. Not because every problem has disappeared, but because you are no longer carrying them in the same way. The weight feels different. Lighter, not because life suddenly became easy, but because you are no longer moving against yourself. Clarity begins to replace overthinking. Decisions that once felt complicated start to feel simpler, not because they are smaller, but because you are no longer trying to force every outcome. You begin to see what matters and what does not, what aligns and what needs to be released. And direction, even if it is only one step at a time, becomes steady. This is the breakthrough pattern, and it often looks different than what you expected. You may have thought breakthrough would feel like a sudden, overwhelming change, something dramatic that instantly resolves everything. But real breakthrough is often quieter. It is consistent. It builds. It shows up in the way your mind settles instead of spirals. In the way your decisions come from clarity instead of pressure. In the way you stop chasing what is not aligned and begin to move toward what is. There is a clear contrast here that you need to hold on to. Before alignment, everything feels like striving. You push, you analyze, you try to control outcomes that refuse to settle. Even progress feels exhausting, because it is built on effort that does not fully connect with peace. After alignment, there is still effort, but it flows differently. You are no longer forcing movement. You are responding to it. There is a rhythm to your actions, a sense that you are working with something, not against it. You may still face challenges, but they no longer confuse you in the same way. You meet them with a clearer mind, a steadier response, and a deeper trust in your direction. This is how you know something has shifted. Now, to carry this forward, you need to ground it in simple actions. Not complicated steps, not overwhelming changes, but small, consistent practices that keep you aligned with what you have recognized. The first is this. Create space to reflect. You do not need hours of deep analysis. Just a few moments each day where you pause and ask yourself a simple question. What felt aligned today, and what did not? Write it down if you can. Not perfectly, not in detail, just enough to notice patterns. Because awareness grows stronger when you give it attention. The second is this. Set gentle but clear boundaries. You are beginning to recognize what creates pressure and what creates peace. So when something consistently pulls you back into confusion, give yourself permission to step back from it. This does not have to be dramatic. It can be as simple as saying no to something that does not feel right, or giving yourself time before responding. Boundaries protect alignment. And the third is this. Return to stillness regularly. Not just when things feel overwhelming, but as a way of staying connected to clarity. Even a few quiet moments, like the stillness you experienced earlier, can reset your awareness and keep you from drifting back into old patterns. Stillness is not a pause from progress. It is part of it. As you begin to live this out, you will notice something else. The same way resistance once showed up in small, consistent ways, alignment now begins to show up just as steadily. A conversation that brings clarity instead of confusion. A decision that feels right without constant second-guessing. A sense of peace that remains even when things are not fully resolved yet. These are not random improvements. They are signs that you are moving in the right direction. And if you want to continue deepening this, if you feel that this message is helping you recognize something important within yourself, then stay connected to this space. Not out of obligation, but because consistency matters when you are building something new within you. You do not need to chase clarity anymore. You are learning how to stay aligned with it. And as this becomes more natural, you begin to realize something even deeper. Nothing about this journey was leading you toward loss. It was leading you toward recognition. And in the next moments, everything you have just understood is going to come together in a way that brings complete reassurance, not just about where you are going, but about who you have been all along. What if the fear you felt at the beginning of this message was never pointing to loss, but to a misunderstanding that is now being gently corrected within you? Because everything you have walked through, every moment of tension, every question, every pause, was not leading you toward being erased. It was leading you toward being realigned. You were never on the edge of losing God's hand. You were on the edge of recognizing where you needed to take hold of it again, not through fear, but through awareness. And now that awareness has returned, not all at once, not in a way that overwhelms you, but in a way that steadies you. Let that truth settle within you. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not standing outside of something sacred, trying to find your way back in. You have been within reach the entire time, even in the moments where it felt distant. And more than that, you have been covered. There has been a protection over your life that did not disappear when things felt uncertain. A presence that did not leave when clarity became quiet. A guidance that did not stop, even when it changed the way it spoke to you. You have been held in ways you did not always see. So now, as you stand at the end of this moment, do not carry forward the fear that brought you here. Carry forward the clarity that met you here. Because fear will always try to rush you, to make you feel like something is slipping away. But clarity will always steady you, reminding you that what is meant for you does not disappear when you pause to understand it. There are still steps ahead. There are still decisions to make. But you are no longer approaching them from confusion. You are approaching them from awareness. And that changes everything. When panic tries to rise again, and it may at times, remember what you have already recognized. The difference between pressure and peace. The difference between confusion and clarity. The difference between forcing and flowing. Return to that. Return to the stillness you felt. Return to the sense of alignment that began to form. Because that is where your direction is now rooted. You do not need to chase what is next. You only need to stay aligned with what has been made clear. And as you do, you will begin to see something unfold in your life that does not rely on constant effort, but on consistent awareness. Doors that open without resistance. Decisions that feel right without constant questioning. A sense of peace that remains, even when everything is not yet fully resolved. This is what it means to move forward from alignment. So let this be your blessing, not spoken over you from a distance, but something you receive and carry within you. May your mind remain steady when pressure tries to return. May your heart recognize peace even when it is quiet. May your steps be guided not by urgency, but by clarity. And may you continue to see the ways you are protected, even in moments where you once felt uncertain. May you trust what you now understand. May you walk forward with confidence, not because everything is guaranteed to be easy, but because you are no longer walking in confusion. And may you always remember this. You were never being erased. You were being realigned. If this message has helped you find that clarity, even in a small way, you can stay connected to this space so you can continue strengthening that awareness. Not out of obligation, but because growth deepens with consistency. For now, carry this peace with you. And let it guide you, one step at a time.